pretty big news in the Star Trek Academy realm with the addition of legacy actors coming in. Of course, we have Tig Notaro, we have Oded Fur, also Mary Wiseman, Tilly from Discovery, and surprisingly, Robert Picardo coming on board. And in addition to the legacy actors we just mentioned, we got mention of the cadets, Karis Brooks, Bella Shepherd, and George Hawkins, and two other characters, Carmen Diane and Zoe Steiner. And of course, we have heavy hitters of Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti on board. They are stacking the deck here. It's looking good. In the actual Star Trek universe panel, though, there was a tidbit that made me just perk up a little bit and go,
I won't give away too much about the show, but I do think that we're kind of finding a new format, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of a hybrid format, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
A hybrid format, new format for a Star Trek show. You know, I've preached about not wanting teenage angst Star Trek. I don't think we're going to get that. Honestly, with these actors we got on board, I don't think we'll get that to a certain extent. But does that give you pause to hear a new and exciting format for a franchise that's been around so long?
You know how I feel about this. And I preach, and you know, I know it sounds redundant, but somebody will hear it for the first time. And that is, Star Trek needs to go on after I'm not here anymore. And if in order to do that, if you have to attract a different audience that consumes TV the way television is made today and make it interesting for them, let's do what we have to do. But like you said, and I agree with 100%, do not stray so far away from the path that we can't find our way back to what makes Star Trek Star Trek. So if there is a hybrid way of melding these two worlds of the way we used to consume television and the way these young people are consuming it today, if there's a hybrid way to do that, then let's try it so that we can see Star Trek. Well, even if I'm not here to see it, I want Star Trek to live on.
I like the idea of the entire show. I'm excited to see Mary Wiseman back. I mean, I really like Tilly's character toward the end. And whether it's reprising the role of the Doctor or if it's a different incarnation or whatever he might be, I'm interested. That's my thing. And Tasha, I think you said it very, very well. Yes, we can be traditionalists. Yes, we can like what we like. But if there's not a new generation coming in watching it that's going to be buying whatever buying is, why continue to make the show?
Were you guys surprised that Tig Notaro and Robert Picardo are the series regulars and Wiseman and Fur are the recurring guest roles? Because that was a shocker for me.
It's interesting that Tig Notaro would be a regular because she wasn't a regular on Discovery because she didn't want to move to Toronto, I think may have been part of the reason. And she had other engagements. So maybe her schedule was just opened up. Vance, kind of par for the course for him. I didn't really expect him to be full-time. But Mary Wiseman, I definitely expected to be on each and every episode.
I thought it was her show.
Yes.
I thought this was going to be her show. And to find out she's just, going to be a recurring guest, it's like, okay, now we're centering on the funny. Tig Notaro, Robert Picardo, we're centering on the funny. So how are we going to read this? Is it going to be a young adult drama or young adult comedy?
Or even their interactions with the younger cadets probably could make for a more conducive writing for something that kind of flows a little bit better. But Mary Wiseman is pretty funny too. So I don't know. I really don't know the reasoning there.
Now, beyond Vance, because he's going to be the exception to what I'm about to say. But if a lot of these character actors that are coming in playing these actors are toward the younger generation, regardless of how you package Mary Wiseman, I think she would look more aligned as the look of her as a student rather than a teacher per se, as opposed to, and no offense to these two actors, but if you look at Robert Picardo or Tig Notaro, they would have more of a teacher presence.
Yeah. And I have to think that maybe the original plans shifted once they were like, what? We can get Holly Hunter for Star Trek? Bring her in. Sorry, Mary Wiseman. Well, we get Paul Giamatti. We're going to bring him in too. And sorry, Mary Wiseman.
You've been listening to the Discussing Network. Find out more at discussingnetwork.com.
Can I say that like shut up Wesley? I can just go shut up Clarence?